Hey everyone, welcome to my page. I'm Julie with Nothing is Wasted Designs, and we are going to play with some pumpkins today. I have a few minutes to come online, and I've been wanting to play with some casting resin. So I'm going to do some casting resin, and I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to see. I have a background that's already done and kind of looks like denim, and I thought that that I would put the pumpkins on here and we will see where this goes. So the first thing that I want to do, okay, so I've got a mold. This is the mold that I'm going to use that has pumpkins in it. I'm going to use that. And I also want to use an essential stencil of the month stencil. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Anyway, come on in. I hope that I inspire you to try something new. We're going to work with these pumpkins here, and I haven't decided what saying I'm going to put on this. And then the other thing that I have is Hello Pumpkin. I might put I'm thinking I'm going to put Hello Pumpkin on here. But what we're going to start with is, let me get this off of here, is the casting resin. So let me get my silicone mat out, because remember that resin will stick to a glass mat. So you do not want to, you want to put a silicone mat over your glass mat. All right, here we go. We got to get Pigpen in here so that if I spill anything, or I should probably say when I spill something, I'm just going to tie the back of that off, that I don't end up, all right. Oh no, I don't have to do that. Okay. Now, if I were working with clay, what I would need to do, all right, this comes in two parts, part A and part B. All right, let me see here. If I was working with clay, I would need to put cornstarch in the mold, but I'm not. I'm going to work with casting resin. And it says that wash thoroughly after handling, wear eye and face protection, rinse carefully. This is one of two parts. Okay, just like any other resin, we're going to do this in, all right, let me get some gloves. One for each hand. And, oh no, looks like it's coming off of there. All right, so I looked up what is the conversion of a, how many milliliters there are to an ounce, and why did I do that? Because I'm going to be pouring this by ounces, okay? That's what's on my cup here, which you can't really see very well. Let's see if I stick my hand in there. Okay, so I'm going to be working with fluid ounces, and the mold that I have, this is an IOD mold, okay? It's got pumpkins and leaves, and I'm not quite sure, exactly what I'm going to do here, but I've been wanting to play with this. So I'm going to go ahead and put some gloves on. Now, the mold, on this mold, it says, it tells you, and you're not going to be able to see this because it's backwards, but each one of these little cutouts, hey Nancy, each one of these little cutouts, there is next to it, it says how many milliliters of resin will fit in this. And so since I'm going to be working with ounces, I just did a quick Google search of how many milliliters are there to an ounce, and there are 29.57 milliliters of a liquid to 1 fluid ounce. So that means that roughly, let's just round it up to 30 milliliters. So every time I have 30 milliliters, I'm going to want to use 1 ounce of casting resin. And so I'm going to look at this, and so I want to do the leaves. I probably want to do this wheat here, and this wheat, and these leaves. The only thing I really don't want to do, I don't know what these little ball things are, but I'm not really feeling those, so I don't think I'm going to do them. So the pumpkin takes 42 milliliters, so let's just say roughly 45. Okay, so that's 45. And then these leaves are 25, so that gives me 70. So there's 70 here. And then these leaves over here are another 20, let's say 25, so there's 95. And then another 5 is 100. And then this one here is 2. So let's say, all right, let's just say roughly 120 fluid ounces. So that means that I need, boy, that's an awful lot. That means that 120 milliliters, is 4 fluid ounces. So I'm going to do 2 fluid ounces. Yeah, I'm going to do 2 fluid ounces of part A and 2 fluid ounces of part B. And let me see how long I'm supposed to stir this. Wash after handling, warning. All right, let me see here. Dry times, directions. Measure out equal amounts of volume A and B into a mixing container. Use a clean stick. Mix thoroughly for 1 minute, okay? We're only going to mix it for 1 minute. Scrape the sides and bottom. Pour after fully mixed immediately. And then demold. The clear liquid will transition to an opaque white plastic with white casting in 10 minutes. And I probably should tie my hair back, but I didn't get anything to tie my hair back. I usually like to tie my hair back when I'm working with resin. All right, so we're going to do 4 fluid ounces. And what was I going to do? Dry times. Oh, I need a timer. That's what I was going to do. So let me open up my computer, and I'm going to just put 1 minute on here. All right, let's do 1 minute. Change this to 1 minute, nope, plus. All right, how do I change this? There should be a, oh my computer just died on me. Well, it's better that it died before I got started than after, right? Let me get this plugged in. All right, we're gonna have to wait for that to come on. We're gonna stir this for 1 minute, and then we're gonna start pouring, y'all, and I'm gonna pour it into, I don't know, I may have enough that I'll just do everything, so we'll see what happens. All right, so, all right, let's delete, and do 1 minute. All right. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna do, oh, it even has milliliters on here. How about that? So if I had, oh, why does it go up by odd numbers? That's weird. Huh. All right, I'm gonna do ounces. I'm gonna do 2 ounces and 4 ounces, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. All right, so I'm gonna do part A first. Oh, looks like I haven't used this one. I have one that's open, but this is the one I have with me, so we'll see what happens. Hold on, let me get my little poker thing. This in the trash. All right, so we're going to do 2 ounces, and then we're going to do 2 more ounces, which will make it 4 ounces. That's weird. It's like some kind of static electricity or something caused it to go. All right, there's 2 ounces. And I'm going to put the lid on this. And then we're going to do 2 more ounces. Hey, Circle Hearts, how are you? Come on in. I'm Julie. All right, and then I'm going to, open this up. And we're going to bring this up to the 4-ounce line. Okay. I'm going to put the lid on this. And I think I'm going to stir this with a stick. All right, and I'm going to hit go. We're going to stir this for 1 minute, making sure that we get the bottom and the sides. Boy, this mixes a lot quicker than I'm going to make sure there aren't any strings in it. I got 30 seconds left. You can feel it. I can feel it getting warm. It's getting warm. All right, 20 seconds to go. I'm going to grab a paper towel. And then it only takes about 10 minutes for this to set up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Boy, I can feel it getting warm. So this is going to go pretty quickly, y'all. All right, going to knock that off, and then I'm going to come in here, and I want you to make sure I get the pumpkin. I don't want to get too much in here. All right, let's see. I want to make sure that it gets all the way to the edge. All right, and I'm going to come in here with the leaves. I can feel it getting warm. And this is going to set up in 10 minutes, so you got to work kind of quickly, is my understanding. Okay. Make sure that it gets all the way to the edges. I want to do these small leaves too. Oh, it's starting to turn white on me, y'all. That may not be a good thing. Not a good thing. Not sure what's going to happen. Yeah, this isn't going to... All right, so I didn't work this fast enough. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and then I'll pull it out of there. All right, so we may have to do another pass with this. All right, so you got to work pretty quickly with this. Lesson learned. All right. I'm going to just go ahead and let that sit. So we've got 10 minutes. It says once it starts turning white, which it looks like it's turning white pretty quickly. I may have, this may be an experiment one. Boy, you can feel the heat in this, the chemical reaction that takes place. All right, so it looks like we at least got our pumpkin. So let me see if I can lift this up. This is hot. All right, we're going to lift that up. And let's see what it did. Well, it looks good. It's just... All right, then we're going to go ahead and... Wow, this is warm. I don't want to put that in the trash at that temperature. All right, so we're going to wait for 10 minutes. We got another minute. And I think what I want to do is while I'm waiting for this, I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to just put this off to the side. And I'm going to start working with, all right, put this off to the side. And I want to take my canvas, bring my canvas in here. And this is what we're going to use. I'm going to use these pumpkins kind of in the background. And then I'm going to bring them into the foreground. And then I want to have the big pumpkin in here. So this is kind of what my thinking is. I want to make sure I leave some space for, all right, let me get some tape. I wanted to try something a little different. I am not I'll be honest with y'all, I am not a big fall decorator. Oh, that just moved. So I'm just kind of playing to see what kinds of things I like. I'm going to put these in the background. These pumpkins here are going to be in the background. All right, let me take this off of here. I've still got 7 minutes, so I don't want to sit here and wait for that to dry. So I'm going to get one of my, let's get some orange paint here. Orange, orange, and orange, bright orange. And I probably could get some white. So I've got jack-o'-lantern, and I have this blue surface, so I thought that I would just go ahead and do the blue surface. It's something that I made a while back. All right, so we're gonna do, so these are gonna be green. We're gonna need a little bit of green, so let's get some green. You got what? Or some brown. Let's get some brown. All right, let's get a couple of different browns, y'all. And I'm not going to do this here. Then I'm going to move this over. But you know what? I want to take this off the edge and do kind of like, I want this to come off the edge. All right, so we're gonna do the orange. All right, how's that doing? It's setting up, y'all. Look at it. Okay, it's setting up. I'm thinking I'm gonna do more than one pumpkin. All right, there's that. So let's put this in. I'm gonna put this right on this blue background. And I don't know if I'm gonna add anything to it later or not. But I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of cardboard. Cut up your boxes, y'all. Cut up your boxes. And this one I want to be a little bit lighter. So let's see if we can. What's going to happen if I add a little bit of white to this? Because I want the foreground to be lighter than the background. That'll give us some depth. So let's take a little bit of this orange and a little bit of this white. All right, here we go. Let's just see what happens. You know what? I probably should have done this in a white background to get more pop out of this. So I think I'll come back and do that on the next one. Maybe the ones in the, all right, same thing again. I'm going to take a little bit of this and a little bit of the white, and I'm going to just mix these two together. And I'm going to come in here because I want this to be lighter, like it's in the background. And to be honest with y'all, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing and seeing how this turns out. And if it doesn't turn out, I can just paint over it, right? I'll come back and do the stems and everything later. Again, I'm going to take a little bit of this and a little bit of white because I want it to have a fade look. All right, here we go. Now, I will tell y'all I have saved 3 brushes. I have saved them from being all hard and not able to be cleaned. All right, so I think I want a small brush here because I'm going to go in here. Yeah, I want a small brush. So let's get, what did I do with the green? I thought I got some green out. I guess I didn't. Maybe, what's this color here? This is a honey brown. All right, let's do a honey brown on this. Because remember, this is going to be kind of like our background pumpkin. And maybe a tinge of the dark. And just kind of mix these two together to get the color that we want. All right, let's go in here. Do our little curly cues. This probably should be green. Here we are. And we're going to do this stem here, maybe a little bit lighter. And then I think I want to come in with a small, just a little bit of green. What is this? Hauser dark green. I'll do a little bit of that. A little bit of white, so that's not quite so dark, because we want to kind of fade it out. All right, so we're going to come over this brown curly cue and turn it green. All right, same thing for this one. We're going to come in here, we're going to get the Hauser dark green, add a little bit of white to it. And it's okay if it's not exactly the same color. It'll actually work out better that way because you want to have some variation. Okay. All right, we've got that. So now let's see what we have. Oops. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's up. So let's see if we can peel this out of here. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at that. That just came right out of there. Oh, I'm liking that. Okay. All right, we got us a pumpkin. So, and I'm gonna kind of thinking that we're gonna maybe put one over there. And let's see what we can do with these leaves, if these leaves are going to turn out. Oh, I like these. All right, y'all. I think we're good. Maybe we'll put, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to put them. But I'm thinking that we need to make some more because I don't like the way they all turned out. Like this one looks like it needs to be cut. All right. So we'll come back to that. All right. Let me finish getting this on here. I may go back and forth. All right. Here we go. So we're going to take, and I'm going to bring that pumpkin behind. We're going to kind of do, or do I want to bring this up? Maybe I want to bring this up. I think I don't want them to be all levels. I'm going to bring this one up. Okay. The idea is these pumpkins here are kind of in the background. That's the idea. All right, let's do it again. What did I do with my, oh gosh, what did I do? Oh, here it is. I moved it out of the way because I know I always stick, oops, wrong color. Wrong color. That one's brown. So we'll go ahead and we'll just do the brown. Gonna do the brown. Gonna do the stem, and then we'll come back and we will do, I kind of feel like I need to throw some hay or something in here somehow. I'm not quite sure how you make that happen, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to come back with the orange, and now I'm going to do a little bit of white in here. All right, so hang on. Oh, I can't move it because I've already started the pattern. All right, here we go, y'all. Here we go. We're going to do this over here. Now, at some point, I want to actually paint pumpkins freehand. That's what I'm going to work up to this holiday season. All right, this one here. And I'm kind of intentionally deciding to not do the background. All right, so there's that. So let's take, and we're going to grab some green. There's one little brush. Again, we're going to take some of this Hauser green. And we're going to go and we're going to add some of these. Now, this is an essential stencil of the month stencil. And if you use my code, Nothing is Wasted. I can't remember what the deal is, but you get a deal. All right, so there is that. But you can use my code and you'll get some kind of deal with it. I want to say you get like 50% off your first order. All right, there's that. Let's see what we got. All right. And so I think I want to come down here. And we don't want to line our pumpkins up. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so now what we're going to have to do is we're going to go, let's do this one here. Or maybe I want to, no. I think I want to think I want, do I want to bring this down some? All right, hold on, y'all. I got to try and figure this out. Maybe I need to bring this over this way. And then we're going to make this one pretty bright. So we're going to come in here and we're going to add more brightness to this because this is going to be in the foreground. So let's take our orange brush. And I want this one to be pretty bright. Making sure that we offload real well. And then I think I'm going to go over this with some of the dark orange to just kind of tone this down. And I may throw some brown in here also, y'all, some dark brown. We'll see. I wished I had a variety of sizes that of the casting pumpkin that I have. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take this dark, I don't know what you call this color. This is, doesn't say, Canyon Sunset, and that's a plaid project paint. All right, here we go. Going back over this, because we want this to be darker and brighter to show dimension. This is all stuff that I'm learning. Y'all may already know this stuff, but this is all stuff that I'm learning. All right, and I'll probably come in here and like add some white or something so that we have some highlights and add some darker stuff. All right, I'm going to get some more. I'm going to go with the bright. Oops, I didn't want to mix that in there. We'll see what happens with that one. It may give us a different color. All right, so here we go. I think I want to add some brown and some white. Oh, there's my brown. It's just kind of on the brush and going in there. All right, let's get the stems. Now these stems are going to be more of just the dark brown, because we want this to be darker. And I may have to go with something even darker than this. All right, hang on, that's not dark enough. Let's see if this one is darker. No, that's not going to be dark enough either. All right, hold on. This is a coffee bean. Let's try this. Let's try this. Now, you know what? I am not worried anymore. It's still not very dark. Hold on. I'm going to add just a hint of black to this, y'all. Just a touch. All right, let me show you what I have. Okay, I've got the dark brown, but it's not as dark as I'd like for it to be. There we go. So I'm going to add just a little bit of black to this to darken it up. Okay? All right, let's do it. Oh, this is better. Okay, we're going to get this guy in here. This guy in here. And then I'm going to come back over with the second coat. All right, let's dry this because all I'm going to do is swirl the paint around. When you want to layer your paint, you want to make sure that you dry it in between layers. Otherwise, you're just going to mix your paint around. All right, this is getting there. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to switch over to the green, and I'm going to go straight dark Hauser green. And we're going to do these little curly cues here. These are the brushes that I'm using are the mini brushes, M-I-N-I. So they get in all the little nooks and crannies. I'm going to come over here. Now notice that I started from the back and then moved forward so that I could have the background and then brighten everything up as I went along. All right, let me get some more of this Hauser green. Doesn't take much. Stenciling does not take much paint at all. All right, let me just wipe some of this off. You hear my dryer going? I had to throw in some clothes because I'm going to a funeral tomorrow. My brother's mother-in-law died, and so I'm going to the funeral tomorrow. She was like 92, and I think when she was like in her 70s, she went skydiving. I would love to do that, but I'm just not physically able. All right, let's see how this is going to do. I feel like I need to get more paint on here. Hey, Karen, come on in. I'm not seeing comments if y'all are commenting. I'll have to go back and check the comments when I get off. Not quite sure what the book is doing these days. All right, here we go. And then I have a friend tonight who is actually preaching. He is, I saw years ago his potential, and we're just, this was like 15 years ago, and so now we're actually seeing this come to life, so it's pretty fun. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to take the brown, and I think I want to just get some highlights in here along these ribs. I can kind of use the guide of the stencil to just kind of guide my brush, and then I want to throw some white in here also. And of course, you know, the bottom of the pumpkin is going to be a little bit darker too. So I'm going to come down here where it's at the bottom. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, so just going to do the same thing again. Just going to kind of go along these ribs. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to put some light up at the top. All right, that looks good. All right, so let's get some white now. I'm going to get another small brush, y'all. I've got like a whole series of these little mini brushes. All right, so I'm going to come in here with the white. And you can take like a liner brush if you want. I'm just going to kind of, whoops, I'm going to move it off kilter here. All right, and I want to hit this light. Let me make sure this is not too bright. I want to hit some light up at the top. Maybe hit light on the front. And then we're going to have to paint our other pumpkin. All right, we're going to get some light in the front, white highlights. Get a little bit more. I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. I hope you're trying new things too. I am learning. Get some highlights in here. All right, let's see what we got. Maybe a few more highlights. All right, that looks good. All right, so don't know what I want to do with this down here. All right, let me lift this up. Show you what I have so far. Okay, this is what we have with our pumpkins. We wanted them lighter in the back. And then I want to put this pumpkin here. So I think what I want to do, want to put one here maybe? No, don't want to put one there. Maybe I could cut it off. All right, so I want to take and I want to put maybe this one in here. Do I want to, all right, let me see how much space this is going to take up. So maybe we want to do, let's line this up. Let's see, nope, it's the wrong size. Close enough. Let's see how I'm going to do this. I thought that this would repeat, but it doesn't. Goes there. All right, let's do another small pumpkin right here, and then we'll put this pumpkin on top of it. All right, let's do that. That's what we're going to do. So again, I'm going to take and let's make sure that this is kind of, well, it's not going to tape down. All right, here we go, y'all. We're going to do one more pumpkin here in the front. All right, here we go. Here goes nothing. And I just have to be careful not to move this stencil. I'm only going to do this one pumpkin on the end. And I want to go in, I want to be careful not to move that. We'll grab a little bit more of this Canyon Sunset. Let's dry this. I'm going to hold this down. What I really need is a variety of different size pumpkins that I can do casting on. All right, here we go. We're going to come in here and we're going to go over this one more time. Renee. How are you? I constantly have you in mind when I'm trying new things and trying to learn new things, and I think, I wonder what Renee would do. I'm taking the Essential Stencil of the Month stencil, and I'm gonna mix it. I'm mixing it with casting resin. All right, y'all, let's dry this. All right, we're going to go in here with the dark Hauser green, and we're going to do these stems because remember these are in the foreground, so we want these to be darker than what's in the background. All right, here we go, y'all. Going to do these little guys here, these little swirly things. I'm making them green. I should have looked up online if they're green or if they're brown. I'm thinking they're probably supposed to be brown. If they're still on the vine, they'll be green because that's where the leaves come from. It's good to see you. I've got a variety of different times that I come on, and I can't always come on at night, and I can't always come on during the day. All right, I'm going to give you a tip, Renee. I don't know if you know this or not, and those of you who are listening, I was watching a YouTube video, and I wished I could remember the lady's name, but have you ever used Murphy oil paint or soap to clean your brushes? If not, I highly recommend it. I had 3 essential stencil brushes that I completely forgot about, and they were hard as a brick with the acrylic paint on them, and I stuck them in 100% not watered down, not concentrated at all, in the Murphy's oil paint, oil soap, and they came out soft, supple, clean, and I saved my brushes. And that was a game changer. So I saved 3 brushes. I had 3 that I had just completely, I don't know. I usually like to, all right, let me get this. I'm gonna do a little bit, actually, if I just add black to this is what I need, because I want a darker brown. And this isn't quite dark enough, y'all, so I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. And that should give me what I want. Anyway, I put the brushes in the Murphy's oil soap, and oh my gosh, it was a game changer. I saved the brushes. It was kind of cool. I don't want black. I want like a really, really, really dark brown, y'all. So I'm just mixing this up. Remember that you're never stuck with just the colors that you have. All right, and then we're going to wipe this off of here just a little bit. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to need 3 coats on this, it looks like. It's a game changer. I'm telling you, I literally took I had remembered that someone said that the Murphy's oil soap would clean the brushes and then you comb it. I just used a fork because that's all I had at the time. I want to get a like a pet comb, like a dog comb. All right, y'all, let's see what we have here. All right, that's gonna work. I just left it in overnight, and when I came back the next day, all right, we're gonna put this pumpkin This is going to be the one that's going to come all the way up front here. I don't know what I'm going to do down here, y'all. But I literally took the brush out of the trash can. I thought, what do I have to lose? I've already thrown it away. I found I had a gallon of Murphy's Oil soap in one of my cabinets over the washer and dryer. And I don't think I've ever used it. I don't even know what I bought it for, to be honest with you. And anyway, so I thought, well, let me give it a shot. All right, we're going to put this off to the side, y'all. And we're going to paint this little guy here. And I'm going to just go over this all with one color to start with. And then we'll go in and we'll add some dark spots and some light spots and see what we get. I'm just going to use the paint that's in this brush. I may have to get a smaller brush for the back. But yeah, so I put the brush in this Murphy's Oil soap, and the next day I was like, I am not believing this. I really thought the brush was gone. And so then I found the two other brushes that I had forgotten, and I saved all three of them. And I just took, what I did is I took a fork and I put it through the bristles, and then I turned my brush and put it, and just kept crossing the fork through it. I think it would have been better if I had like a comb. I bought a flea comb, but that really didn't, it was hard to get the bristles in there, so that really didn't work very well. All right, I'm liking this, y'all. I am liking this. This is an IOD mold, and all I've done is pour some casting resin in it. So if I can get the back of this, I think I need a smaller brush. Just getting all of this out of here. All right, let's see what this is going to do. What's this? I think that's going to be good. All right, so let's take and let's do a little bit. I think we should do the stem brown, y'all. I do. So I'm going to do this in a little bit of brown, a little bit of, I'm going to throw some white in here because I don't want this quite this dark. So how your renovations coming, Renee? All right, let's see what this is going to do. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be perfect. That's a big project. You painting the entire house or just sections of it? All right, this is going to be good. I don't know that this is the best brush for this job, but it already had the paint in it. So that's why I decided to go with this. I may have to get a smaller brush for some of the details. All right, and then after I get this light coat on here, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of dark highlights. So let me get a really, really skinny brush. Maybe this one here. All right, so let me get in here, and I'm going to just come in here with some dark highlights. Because remember that, so for those of y'all that are new to my page, I'm new to painting. And so what I do is when I'm out in nature, I look at and I see, how did God do this? And then I watch other artists and just kind of try to figure it out. And I'm having a fun time with it. So, like, I never noticed that the leaves on trees all have different colors. You know, before I started painting, it was always like just green. And so when you go out, look up at the sky. When it's cloudy, look at the colors of the clouds. We always think of them as being white or dark or whatever. But, and just look and see what happens in nature. And that will teach you a lot. And then you've got, you know, your gifted artists. And, okay, so that's got some little spots in it. Painted last winter, have someone coming in to do the rest. We've been busy cleaning out another house we inherited. Oh, they we have a rental that that we have also, and so I understand having more than one. All right, let me come in here with this. I need to come up near the top of this, y'all. So are you going to sell it, or are you just fixing it up to rent, or? That's a lot of work. A lot of work. We have a house that we bought through inheritance money that I had from my mom and dad, and we bought it up near where our son went to school. And anyway, he's actually going to go back there. And all right, I'm going to see if I can get this a little bit dark in these crevices, y'all. But we've had tenants that you know, we kind of bless them, you know, just with just a minimum, so that they have, God's brought all the tenants to us, and so it's kind of an odd way to just help these students that need a place to live and affordable housing. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just coming in here and going in these crevices with a darker color so that we have some dimension. So what I've learned is that different is what catches the eye. So you want to have variation in the colors that you're using, and okay, and so what I'm doing is I'm just doing like some dark highlights where the sun wouldn't hit as much. And I could sit and play with this kind of stuff for hours, y'all, so I'm going to try not to do too much. But I'll show this to you in just a minute, where you'll see just a faint change of the color. All right, let me get just a little bit more down in here. And then I'm going to bring some white in here because the front will have more light on it. Let me see if y'all can see. I don't know if y'all can see the difference or not, but there is a difference that makes it look like there's shadows in the, gotcha. All right, so let me take some white. I'm gonna take my white brush, and I'm gonna offload this, and I'm gonna just kind of come in here a little bit of white so that it has a little bit of light on it. Now, if any of y'all are watching, have not seen Renee's page, Flip Flop Furnishings. She's a wonderful teacher. She's got a really peaceful voice to listen to, and she's got a lot of talent. So she's really a good person to follow. So I encourage you to go over there and follow her page. We're just adding a few highlights in here. All right, so I don't know if y'all can see it on the camera or not. There's just a little bit of white where we would have the sun shining. And then I'm gonna just do just a little bit of white up top just to give it a little different color variation. All right, so I think we're good with that. So we're gonna put this off to the side, and we're gonna come in here. Oh yeah, I almost feel, okay, I think we need to put that like right there. So let me put my brushes in my water because I think I'm done with these colors. And all right, so I'm gonna leave, I think I'm gonna put this one here, but I'm gonna do that last because the next thing I wanna do is I wanna come in and we're gonna put, I want this to be flat when I'm stenciling this. I'm gonna put Hello Pumpkin up at the top. And I need to move this because otherwise I will stick my stencil right on in there. All right, here we go. We're going to do Hello Pumpkin on here. Now, if you are not a member or have not signed up for, all right, let's see. I want to get this straight. Maybe, do I want to put this? I think maybe I want to put it off to the side, y'all, just to kind of balance what's over here. Essential Stencil has a Stencil of the Month club, and you can sign up for 1 month. There's 2 different plans that you can, I want to get that little curly Q on there. And I think, I'm not sure what color I want to do this in. Maybe brown? Boy, this almost looks black here. All right, let's see. And you can use my code, Nothing is Wasted. That will help you when you sign up. All right, let's see what I got here, y'all. All right, let's put a piece of tape on here. I'm gonna fill in this space. All right, and what color do I want to do this in? I think I want to do it in brown. I think I want to do it in a dark brown. I don't typically go to brown, but I think I want to do this one in brown. So I'm going to get a clean piece of cardboard, and it doesn't take much paint, and a clean brush. These are my ultimate favorite essential stencil brushes, y'all. They're soft, they get in the nooks and crannies. I mean, they just, I don't use the bigger brushes hardly much at all anymore. All right, let me add a little bit of black to this because I do want this a little bit darker. Not much, but I do want it a little bit darker than this, kind of like a milk chocolate, and I want it more than a milk chocolate. All right, I'm going to need a little bit more, a little bit too black. going to have a kind of a black brown here. All right, this is going to be good. All right, here we go. All right, let's offload real well. All right, here we go, y'all. Hello, pumpkin. And there are different ways that you can stencil these stencils. I like to swirl. Some people like to pounce or stipple. Some other people like to use like makeup sponges. It's all up to what works best for you. I tend to like the, probably maybe green would have been a good color too. Maybe I should have gone with green. All right, we're going to dry this and we're going to put a second coat on it. I know, I do too, Renee. I like the fact that you can skip a month if you don't want the month, you know, what the designs are for that month. And I have done that. Matter of fact, I don't do Halloween or any of the witches stuff. So I always skip that. But what I like to do is I like to sign up for 6 months. And then that way you get a better deal. And you also, sometimes that'll carry me through the year by the time I skip a couple of months. So it's really a good deal. And I love the company. I love the owner. All right, here we go, y'all. I'm gonna go in for the second coat. I got a lot of paint in there. All right, here we go. Looks like I need to dry this just a little bit more. Now, the other thing that I love about Essential Stencils is their fonts. They have some of the prettiest fonts of stencils of anybody that I've seen out there. So and then they have a lot of really good, nice scriptures. So between the scriptures and the font and the content, they're a company that I would highly recommend that y'all look into. All right, here we go. I'm going to do a little bit more. And I think we're going to be done after this. That seems to be coming off of there for some reason. I'm not sure why. All right, here we go. Let me lift this up, see what we got. I like it. Okay? I like it. So let me put this off to the side. Now, I will take those stencils over to my sink and I'll clean them with a board eraser. From Chalk Couture. All right, so this is what we have so far. Hello Pumpkin, and we've got all the pumpkins. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that away, and I'm going to get my pumpkin. Here's my pumpkin. And I'm going to put this up right here, actually right here. So let me get some glue. I'm going to throw this one in the trash and this one in the trash so that I don't stick anything in it, because I know how to do that without even trying. All right, I'm going to take the tape off of these. Now, I ended up with I like to get the premium. All right, I'm going to do 3-in-1 on this is what I'm going to try, y'all. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a try. I like the premium package because you get a few more options to work with. All right, this is a 3-in-1. We're going to just see how this works. Taking it all the way to the edge. Adding just a little bit of dimension to this. And I'm going to just let that sit. I'll show y'all what it looks like. See if I can do this without it falling off of here. Okay, so this is what we have. So we've got our little pumpkins. And thanks, Renee. That actually ended up being something that I did, and I didn't like it, and I scraped it off, and I liked it better, and so there's no way I could tell anybody how to do this because it was a happy accident. All right, y'all, so that is what we have. I'm not sure if I'm going to add any leaves. I might add some leaves down here at the bottom. But this is all we're going to do for today. This is our Hello Pumpkin with the Essential Stencil of the Month Club. And my code is Nothing is Wasted. 3 words, the first 3 words of my name, no spaces, and that will get you, I forget the deal, but it'll get you, I think it's like you get 50% off the first month that you join. And if you have the money, I recommend that you sign up for 6 months. And then that way you can skip whatever plans if you have the premium plan. So there we go. All right, y'all, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will not be on this weekend. And dinner's ready. Enjoy your dinner. Thanks for joining me, Renee. It's always a pleasure to see what you do. And I feel honored that you came in to watch me. So you have a great weekend. And the rest of y'all have a great weekend. I love you. Jesus loves you more. Bye-bye.